No steering wheel.
No steering wheel, no pedals, no nothing. You are, this is like being chauffeured, but in the front seat instead of the rear seat. Let's go over here to
autonomy.
To what I'm calling the Model 2. I know you want to be a Cybercab or whatever, but to me, this is what Grace, the lady who works for Eric, this is what she wants. She does not like to drive. In fact, she had a car for a long time, and her mom drove her to work because she didn't want to. She's scared of driving. This is what Grace wants. She wants to get in it, take me to work, please. And that's it. Boom, done. So
and I'm sure she's not alone.
What's that?
I'm sure she's not alone.
Oh no, are you kidding? Yeah. This is the COVID kids, is what I call them. They all want to steer clear of driving. Yeah. They never want to buy a car. They never want to, all they want to do is go from this house to that house. That's it. So this to me is, I'm patiently waiting, well, impatiently waiting for this to hit the market. So when are we going to see this happen?
Well, let's see. We have the, as we've said before, the unsupervised full self-driving starting in Austin. That's later this summer with our current vehicles, and that's to get our rideshare fleet out there and moving and operating. And then this equipment is starting to be installed in Giga Texas already. It takes a bit of a while, but we have our first prototype builds coming up this summer, and then we'll get it out, probably early part of next year. I think Elon said 2026 in the launch events, and I plan on meeting that day.
Wow.
All right, guys, Armin Fonchanovsky here with Munro Delta Wheels. We'll get right back to your new Model Y video, but I have to show you these aero covers here. So we've worked with Halo Black to manufacture these covers. They will fit on any Tesla, any wheel size, except for a Cybertruck. And we've done extensive CFD and real-world testing to optimize this for range. So some numbers, we increased efficiency by 8% on this Model 3 Performance, which actually would increase the top speed from 163 miles an hour to 175. So if you're in Germany and you'd like to go fast, or a little bit faster, maybe you'll take a look at these. Standard covers, this nets you about a 5% increase in range. So, and to beat that, it's not just about covering the whole wheel, but there's a lot more tricks that go into the aerodynamics that meet the eye, right? So there's a chamfer around the perimeter that kind of extends the geometry of the tire, keeping the airflow laminar along the side of the vehicle. And actually on the rear, we've done some tricks to bring in some air into the wake of the vehicle, filling in that large low pressure bubble that drags behind the car, sucking you back. Additionally, these are about $299 for the covers as you see them. They come in black and white, but for just a little bit more, I think the price is going to be $360. We will actually print your own design onto these. And these are not stickers. This is a very high quality, full spectrum, high resolution UV print. And you'll just upload a file, a PNG file or whatever to the website, and we'll print this on there for you. So really, your imagination is the limit. You can really have whatever you want. Full color, super nice resolution, doesn't come off. Really fancy stuff. And actually, a lot of my friends, they're like, hey, can I do this and that? Yes, you can do everything. Doesn't matter, as long as you upload it. Additionally, since these covers extend over the entire wheel, we'll protect the wheel from curb rash, right? So, especially on the performance versions, very low profile tires, it's pretty easy to scratch them up. And then there's not really a good way to fix aluminum wheels. these are sacrificial, right? So you can just scratch one, get a new one, no big deal. I'd rather scratch some plastic than, you know, a nice aluminum wheels that you have. If you have some existing curb rash, you can also cover it up. But I think with that, let's take it back to Sandy. Thank you, guys.
Okay, so I made a couple of comments about what I thought.
Oh, this is a prototype,
Yeah,
Sandy.
so
Yeah. Okay.
we built a few prototypes, and
Alrighty.
If you want to talk about, you know, the rim process, I saw you
Yeah.
put that out there. We can talk about it.
Okay, good. Because SMC is what I think is going to be the material of the future. And after I made the calculations for carbon fiber versus fiberglass versus stamped aluminum versus blah, 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 and I took into account all the stuff, I mean, it goes down, it comes up, and I got a part. I'll do that all day long. And quite frankly, some of the guys that are making really short volumes or small volumes in Britain that make supercars, they're using wood. I mean, at the end of the day,
for the dye, yeah.
yeah,
Sure.
for the mold. So at the end of the day, I'm wondering how much. So I stuck my hand under here, but I couldn't really feel much. Oh, this one's even. This is a little different than the one I had. So anyhow, I felt, and I'm just kind of curious. Are we looking at a single piece? Or are we looking at a casting? Or are we looking at what?
Well, I mean, if we want to talk about the construction, so this is primarily following our unbox process that we talked about before.
Yeah.
So we have a big rear casting, a big front casting. We have 2 hot stamped door rings that kind of make the side shell.
Okay.
And those are actually laser welded together, or they will be. And so then we assemble all of those with all of the subcomponents, like, you know, the interior trim, the motors and everything, and then we bolt them all together. Then the exterior panels are using the rim technology I sort of alluded to before, where we inject the PU on the backside of either a PPA, TPO, PCABS part.
Yeah, right.
And then we ultrasonically weld it to an inner that's glass filled or carbon filled,
Yeah.
injection molded. So we have a lot of different processes going on, but all of them are kind of in the vein of just trying to make one part one time.
Yeah.
You know, like not put it in, take it out, post-process it,
Right.
you know, like clean it up, weld it, stamp it again. So just like you said, all day long, we're going to put a panel in, take it out. We're going to put the casting in, take it out. The castings aren't even going to be painted on this. We've done work with our materials team. We've got corrosion under control. You don't have to worry about it. The only thing that you're going to see some paint is on the hot stamped door rings. We're just going to have this little bit of black here. And that's, you know, primarily for corrosion protection of the boron steel.
Yeah, well,
but you only put the paint where you need it.
Exactly, and that's the big thing for me. I'm not a fan of paint. I never have been a fan of paint. I mean, I ran paint shops. I helped design and build, when I was in the machine tool world, paint systems. And there's just too many variables. There's too many things that can go wrong. And why do I want to?
Most of it.
Yeah.
You
Exactly.
just, like, throw it in the air.
Most of it just
a lot
either-
of energy
it goes down the,
inefficiency.
yeah, exactly. And then somebody has to shovel that crap out. So I'm a big fan of not painting. And when you guys told me that you were, you know, it's going to be molded in color and whatnot, I'm in all day long. I believe that that's the right way to go. And if this is what I think it is, or what you just described, I guess, then I'm really certain that this car is it's gonna sell like hotcakes. And like I said, I think the COVID kids, they'll be in on this like white on. In fact, I'll tell you right now, driving to work is quite an experience lately. So I will give you my little anecdotal story with my Cybertruck. I was going home, and in Michigan, everybody is on 75 heading north.
Yep.
At 85, 90 miles an hour. I was on self-driving, and I wasn't paying attention. I looked out the driver's side window, and the next thing I know, everything went to hell in a handbasket.
Behind you.
Cars were, no, right beside me.
Oh, man.
I wish behind me. No, I couldn't believe it. And my reflexes are wicked fast for an old guy. And I reached for the steering wheel, and all of a sudden I didn't have to, because I was clear, and I looked in the rear view mirror, I looked at the screen,
display.
and the center display went from, I don't remember what I had it on, probably the radio station or something. It went from that to all the mirrors turned on, or not all the mirrors, all the cameras turned on. So I'm looking in, and all I can see is wreckage in back of me. And I'm telling you what, that car moved so fast, it was lightning fast.
Those are the kind of things we can't do as humans.
What's
Yeah,
that?
we
No,
can't- we can't-
nobody
Reaction
can.
times.
Nobody. There's no way. This is like race car driving. You know, oh, look at he steered out of. No, he didn't. He got lucky. That's kind of, and there's skill involved. But at the end of the day, anybody who's ever, and when I used to race, I got on, and so you can say, yes, I did this and I did that. But luckily, that guy's tire blew off and he fell down, and so I managed to escape. This one, I don't know how I got out of it. And like I say, in back of me was, I don't know, 3, 4 cars that did not escape, and a whole bunch of people that are in the, what do you call the ditch on both sides? I mean, it was, and I was out, and I was right in the middle of it. The guy over here was cut off. He tried to cut off somebody over there. It was just like everything happened all at, like in a split second, and I managed to make it
We're
out.
glad you're safe, Sam.
Yeah, so am I. I'm really happy to be safe. I didn't die. It's a good day in Detroit. Yeah. So anyways, I also noticed that you're using like a bigger disc on this. Are you going to keep that, or?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
That's
I
fair.
think it looks good. I mean, it looks totally different than a normal car. So.
Yeah, I mean, aerodynamics, like, you know,
Yeah.
I think for as much as Franz hates door handles, like I, you know, hate the wheel tire interaction, and this is really the best way for us to get the most aerodynamic wheel tire we could get.
Yeah.
And like, you know, it's kind of the wheels are quite large, the tires are quite big for this small of a car, and that's primarily for rolling resistance.
Yeah.
And just to get less deflection under the mass. But that allows us to, you know, have this bigger disc on the hub, and then like still have room for, you know, the tire to compress over bumps and potholes and things.
So I have a question for you. Okay, so what kind of range do you think you're going to have on this vehicle?
It's an interesting question.
Because it'll be a guess, I'm sure.
Yeah,
but-
I mean, at this point, you know, like we want to make sure that our cars last, the Robotaxi can last the full usage of a day without having to recharge too much. So we got a lot of models going around, you know, trying to figure out like how, like a typical Robotaxi would go, pick up someone, go to the next job, whatever. And we think that we can do that with like a really quite a small battery pack. It's under 50 kilowatt hours, and still have over like close to 300 miles of real world range.
And I feel good, because that's kind of like what I said to someone else who was interviewing me. They said, well, how much? I said 60, definitely under the 73 or whatever, 75, whatever the other one had. But I think I said either 55 or 60, something like that.
We'll be less than that.
Yeah, well, that's just extra mileage. But
you know, the design is part of that as well. I mean, this car is actually really unique in terms of its teardrop shape. It's actually quite narrow in the rear compared to the front. Obviously, you covered the discs, but the aero efficiency is a huge factor in getting to higher range with a smaller pack. And we were able to really, because it's a 2-seater, we were able to really narrow the hips on this car.
Yeah.
And when you come to the rear, you actually start to see how narrow it is, but it's not unattractive. So
No, actually, when I went through the the tour, and I got the ride at you know, at the launch, at the We Robot thing, I actually love this kind of style. So to me, if it looks the same as everybody else's, I don't understand why I would want to keep a styling cue from one car and make sure that it's in the next car and stuff like that. So this to me,
or
looks
when you compare
fabulous.
this to the other cars with all the appendages.
Oh yeah.
lining
There's
up
nothing.
everywhere.
That's exactly what I want, is a gumball machine stuck to my roof. Actually, that's the other thing. I thought that maybe this car would be something classified as a city car. Maybe it doesn't go fast. You get into, I mean, New York traffic and stuff like that. That's like the nastiest on the planet.
Yeah.
This would be ideal, because I don't think anybody moves much more than about maybe 25, 30 miles an hour in New York.
Being small and nimble, able to get over to the curb and park, drop you off quickly. Yeah. But then also, you know, part of the LA system is all built on freeways in the city. Yeah, so being able to get on the freeway, get off and be,
okay. Unless you're what is the name of that? Ventura Highway, which I sat on for 4 hours. I could see the airport, but I never got there. Right. I mean, so LA is like a unique, sometimes you're going like 100 miles an hour, and sometimes, you know, you can see snails going by faster than you. So, but I like the way it looks. But if we talk about looks, let's look at this. Oh, this is my favorite. I mean, I got panned like there was no tomorrow about, you know, oh, you don't know anything. So, but I love this. I'm a huge fan of Art Deco.
We like to call it future deco.
Future deco?
Take the deco idea and bring it into the, you know, have a futuristic feel for it.
Well, I'm telling you what, I absolutely adore this thing. I really wish it was going into the market soon, because I'm telling you, I look at this and I see the need, and wowzers, nobody's got anything that looks like this. Nobody's got anything that could drive like this. Right. And I realize you need that tested so that you can run this, but wowzers, I really do like it. Really like it a lot. So what's been the response apart from, you know, maniacs like myself? What other? I
mean, I think most people really actually do love the appearance of it. It's very unique. It's very iconic. But it you know, I think Elon said before, the future should look like the future. Yeah, exactly. Even though this takes cues from, you know, Art Deco past, like
I know, but
this is the future, right?
As far as I'm concerned, if you look at what came before, okay, so you know, basically fancy frou-frou, whatever. And then Art Deco came in, and what did we get after that? You know, glass stumps for buildings and stuff. Oh, this is really imaginative. To me, this is what I expect to see if I was going to Dubai or, you know, someplace that's really, really classy, really on the cutting edge for style and whatnot.
But I think it's not overly styled. Like Deco has a connotation of being like extra decorative, and so we try to take a lot of the principles that we employ in our other products with the cleanliness, simplicity, all those things, and just have just enough to kind of get that that future deco feel, but keep the clean aesthetic so it's not overbearing.
Yeah, and you add an extra couple of bars. I mean, everything deco is 3.
Yes,
you got 5, exactly. One for each finger.
Exactly.
So I really do like this a lot. So,
did you sit inside?
Yeah, I didn't get a chance last time. They shut the doors and told me to go away. So.
It's actually, we take some Franz and I just took a meeting in here earlier. It's a good meeting room too.
And you can imagine doing the meeting while you're traveling to your next destination. And
yeah, exactly right. This is the kind of thing that, you know, going to the airport sucks. Regardless of what anybody says, you know, you're in a rattle trap van. It's got 10 million miles on it. Everything looks like it's going to fall apart. This would be the ultimate party vehicle. I mean, taking people from point E to point B, who needs a limo? This is really styling. And then configuring the seats around a little bit. I mean,
this is just one of many configurations that we have, and that we created. You know, we can only show one, so
yeah. Well, this one here is perfect. I think I don't know. I really like this, and as a prototype. Man, I see lots of prototypes, and they don't come out looking quite like this. You guys, I don't know how you do it.
I think part of that's because, you know, we of course have like people who are really skilled technicians in the back, and the team, they can build anything you ask them to in overnight if you wanted it. And they work really closely with my engineering team. So what we put out is really close to what we're going to produce. We do a lot of firsts, you know, even in these kind of early prototype stages. a lot of 80-20 engineering just to make sure the structural integrity is right, that the gaps in the fit and finish are right. And then, you know, the people that put this together, they're super craftsmen.
Yeah, and I think that's part of the qualities of vertical integration. We brought that whole team in-house into our design process. So they're there from the beginning. They understand what the vision of the designer is all the way through the process. And then, you know, the designer's right there working with these guys to help get it finished.
The whole way, right?
Yeah,
it's not like an over-the-wall thing where they're building it after we, you know, drew it up.
It's just one of the side benefits of having the prototyping capability right in our back pockets.
And you can probably hear them.
Yeah, that's all the ambient noise is more stuff.
If they're not making noise and they're not making scrap, then they're not doing anything.
Exactly.
And that's kind of like, that used to be the way that tool makers used to. Anybody that isn't making noise or doesn't make a mistake every once in a while can't be any good.
Right.
But this is like, actually, you know, there's something, you can't believe how many times I've interviewed people at different companies, and I might get a chance to talk to the guy in charge of styling, and I might get a chance to talk to the guys in charge of engineering, but having the two in the same room, the egos, I mean, you'd have to increase the width of the door to get those heads through. But that's kind of, people at Tesla seem to be, they work a lot, but they also seem to get along a lot. And I can't put my finger on how you guys do that, but it's a good attribute to have. There's no question about that. It really is amazing how fast you can move. What is your time from concept to first customer ship? What are you at?
Oh, first customer ship. I was going to say this one. This one was like...
This is a couple months.
Yeah, a couple months.
Really? Yeah. 2 months for this?
Yeah.
But you know, it depends on the product. Some products percolate for a while before we get them out there. But like once we have something done, like we showed the Cybercab, in October, and we're going to get that out, you know, in the first part of 26. So 16, 17 months.
Yeah, it's less than 2 years. Like, you know, the Model Y development, the new Model Y development was less than 2 years. But, you know, humbly, we have the Roadster on the other end of the spectrum.
Well,
so
you don't make much money on a Roadster, but and there's a limited market.
Right.
It's getting more limited because people like what I was like when I was a kid. You're not finding as many of them. Yeah. I mean, I sunk every penny that I had. I had a Morgan Super Sport, and I spent every penny that I made on that car to pay the the banker back and stuff like that. Yeah. Everything went into that car. I didn't go on dates. I didn't eat out. I was eating you know, toast. That was my favorite dinner, ramen. Just so I could have that car. And you don't have people really enthusiastic like that anymore. Well, so a Roadster, to me, probably guys my age will buy one, drive it around, and think about their youth or something. But I don't see people that are, you know, throwing everything at the side of the road so that they can have a sports car. So,
well, we'll make a great one, and when we do, maybe there'll be some more people that want to buy it.
Well, maybe after the COVID kids, yeah. We are seeing though that I gave a speech to a bunch of teachers, and they said that there's a big difference. So some of these people who've had basically COVID kids, and now there's a new set of kids that are coming in that have social. They're more social, and they can tell the difference. There's a distinct difference between somebody who's 7 to 10 or something like that versus someone who's 13 to whatever. Yeah, they seem to be different. So maybe we'll see a resurgence in.
I bet so. It's a different world now.
Yeah. Well, we'll keep trying to make enthusiastic cars.
Yeah. Well, have to make more kids too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You want to go for a ride?
In here? Sure.
No.
Yeah, let's do it.